Hi, Diana.
Hi. Sorry, I meant to get down there in person, but I was gonna be 15 minutes late if I did that, so here I am.
I think we've got a quorum, don't we?
Sure do.
All right.
All right.
What's the time?
But Diana,
See if Diana wants to chair. Isn't she something?
yeah, she's the secretary of the full body.
Okay.
I guess Diana,
Is Emily not gonna make it?
not that I've heard, but she's not here yet, so
Okay.
How about Susan Steffens? Did we hear from her?
I haven't heard one way or the other.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I don't have the agenda in front of me, maybe I could.
Oh, I didn't share it to the, sorry, hold on. Skipping steps here. There we go.
Awesome. All right, it's 12:02. I will call this meeting to order. We have a quorum. We have Ann, Nancy, and myself. So we have 3 of our 5 members. We have a quorum. I'll call the meeting to order. Anybody have any comments on the draft minutes from the last meeting?
Yes, Diana, I do. And Alex, do you have a copy of those? Because I forgot. I brought them last time. Let me get to where it's probably toward the end. And it has to do with a meeting at my house, which had nothing to do with HCC. It should be, let's see. So that is not correct. So the meeting at Ann's house had nothing to do with HCC. If that could just be removed from the, I was talking about it there to y'all, but it had nothing to do with HCC.
Well, you spoke about it at the meeting, that's why it's in the minutes, so whether it has to do with the HCC or not, it still happened. And it was still on the record because you said it.
Right, but it got me in trouble with the city attorney's office.
That doesn't mean we can just delete it from the record.
Well, then let's have a correction then, that this meeting had nothing to do with HCC. This meeting had nothing to do with HCC. Can we add that? This meeting is about transportation, that has nothing to do with HCC. And let's see. Oh, here, wait a minute. All right. Okay, I think that if you'll just put that in, because the meeting at my house, because my house is not legal to have an HCC meeting, it had nothing to do with HCC. If you just put that in, this was had nothing to do with HCC. Thank you.
Okay, can we make that change?
You need to vote on that, but yes.
Oh, okay, right. So I'll,
Let's say the wording of a meeting at Ann's house, parentheses, and nothing to do with HCC regarding a new committee, this new committee. This is a misrepresentation of what I was talking about, but I think that will sort the record out enough.
so how, do you have exact language that you'd like to see there, Ann?
Well, it conflates 2 issues I was talking about. When it says Ann wants to start a new ad hoc committee, it wasn't called the Low Stress Bikeway Network. It was to review Chapter 7. So how about, can we delete the Low Stress Bikeway Network? Can we delete that from the minutes? Because I started the ad hoc committee. I did this jumped through all the hoops and did all the things, but this is conflating 2 issues. And it was never my intention to have the new ad hoc committee be the Low Stress Bikeway Network.
Emily, we're just discussing the minutes from the last meeting. So here's my hesitation with that. I didn't write these minutes. These were Peggy's last
Right.
minutes that she wrote. So this is all coming from what she remembers from the meeting and from the recording.
Uh-huh.
So I'm happy to take another look at these if you don't want to pass these during this meeting, and then we'll come back to them with the next one. And I'll
I just want to
maybe do
get,
my own minutes for.
I just want to get it out of there. So I am,
But if it happened at the meeting, I can't delete it from the minutes.
Well, could we have a motion to change the minutes to say something like Ann wants to start an ad hoc committee and review and focus on the chapter 7 and the new land use plan? Could we just,
and delete, we can't delete, I mean.
If you make it a new paragraph, maybe it doesn't then attach it to the.
Okay, yes, okay, let's do that. Let's say Ann wants to start a new ad hoc committee to review, we should read chapter 7 in the new land use plan, so just keep that. Then a new paragraph, thank you, Nancy. She also is interested in a low stress bike network. Are you all content with that? And then the next paragraph, meeting at Ann's house, parentheses, not HCC, regarding,
Maybe which.
see what, see, it wasn't about this new committee. I mean, I can see why Peggy got confused, because I was talking about really 3 different things.
Mm-hmm.
So, right? So, okay. Meeting at Ann's house regarding bike walk, because it wasn't about the new committee. So delete this new committee regarding bike walk, parentheses, not HCC, on Monday, June 9th. Does that meet your criteria?
Like I said, I'm not gonna delete anything out of these minutes because I didn't write them. If you would like me as the body to rewrite the minutes.
Well, no, I'd like to rewrite them.
Based on, well,
Okay, can I rewrite? Okay, let's postpone this to next meeting. I will forward to all of you, you review it, and I'll forward to all of you my corrections to the
Mhm.
minutes. How's that sound? So that they reflect what really happened.
Chair, you good with that?
I guess I'm not clear why we can't just amend the minutes now through a regular motion like we do during the regular HCC meetings. This is a committee meeting. I don't know why we have to be more formal than the full HCC. We make changes to the minutes there all the time.
Diana, just for clarification, I'm not saying you can't amend them. I'm saying I'm not deleting anything out of these minutes because this isn't my work
Okay.
product.
So then let's not make it delete, but let's just put them in different boxes. How's that?
Different paragraphs.
Different paragraphs. So we've got one, there will be a public meeting in October. Ann wants to start a new ad hoc committee, period. We should read chapter 7 in the new land use plan. New paragraph. She also is interested in a low stress bike network. That doesn't delete anything. Are you okay with that? Okay, then a meeting at Ann's house regarding bike walk will be held on Monday, June 9th. So put then the new HCC committee will be formed at the next HCC meeting, which is what happened. That doesn't delete anything.
Okay.
Can we do that?
That's your turn.
Y'all,
Yeah,
Diana, you're comfortable with that?
I'm fine with that. I still don't understand why we can't delete things from minutes that we feel are misrepresenting the situation.
The problem is,
I'm fine with the language proposed.
and Alex wasn't there, and I understand perfectly Alex's. But are you comfortable with me adding rather than subtracting? I mean,
I think an addition makes sense. I think doing this addition, as long as we're following all the rules, makes sense and it works and clarifies the the problem at hand. Sorry, I was trying to pull up the documentation and I was struggling a little bit. So apologies, I didn't chime in sooner.
Anyway, is everybody happy with that? I don't want to spend any more time on it. I just wanted the minutes to reflect what I believe really happened.
Okay.
So we do need to vote on that.
Okay, I would move,
Emily, do you want to start running? You want to run the meeting now? I was just filling in. Do you want
I certainly can if you'd like. Yeah.
to? Okay.
so Emily, can I
Thank
make
you.
the motion to approve my corrections and additions to the minutes?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, I'm so
Okay,
moved.
I second vote, heard the motion.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. So I think that passed unanimously. I can't quite tell. Sorry, Alex, if I missed anybody, but I'm pretty sure that was unanimous.
Yeah, we have the option to do a roll call vote as well, if that makes things easier on your end.
I think I'm okay. I can't quite see the conference room. Okay, I think I'm good because it's just Anne. Okay, who all is here? I guess I should say that. Let me rephrase that. I heard everybody, so it looks like Anne, Nancy, Diana, and I.
Yeah,
Okay, and I believe I heard all of them, so I don't think we need to do a roll call vote. Thank you.
Go back up.
So, oh, go ahead. So that looks like it. We were on the minutes, so now we're down to new business. Is that correct?
Communications from committee members is next.
well, did our motion, it adopted the minutes as corrected?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Perfect. So yeah, sorry. Communications from committee members. I didn't see any there. So then I think we can move on to our new business.
Oh, so Emily, I have a question. What is that item? Because I'm relatively new. What is that item for?
The communications from committee members? Is that, sorry, that's the one you're asking about?
What?
Um,
Because I would like to propose, but I want to know where to put it. I would propose that we have these meetings on a regular day at noon, but that we hold them whenever possible in the library, because I feel that's much more friendly to the public.
I think we have a proposal on scheduling for our next agenda, is towards the end of this agenda. So let's revisit that then.
Can't see it, it's down near the bottom.
Oh, okay.
But in regard to the communications from committee members, that is an opportunity to hear from committee members or talk about the communications from them. And correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, this format for our agenda is mirroring our format for our HCC agenda. Is that correct?
It is, yes. So the intent.
Perfect.
Communications from committee members is like if you all talk to someone in the community that there's an event that you would like to attend, or
Oh, I see.
there's a new idea that you would like to add to a next agenda, or that you would like to talk about. It's for you to bring things to the table.
Okay.
With the caveat that we can't vote on anything because it hasn't been on the agenda before.
Okay.
So that I think would be more of our planning. So I think, does that answer all that question, Anne?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. So in that case, does anybody have anything that isn't currently on the agenda that you would like to discuss, knowing that we're not going to be making a motion on it? We'd have to add it to our next agenda. So anything planning, any communications any of you have?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I have two things. One, I think we should, I did reserve the public defender's office window display, at the corner of 6th and the Walking Mall, for the month of September. So that's reserved, and I'm wondering if we should reach out to the League of Women Voters to, maybe they'd like to do a joint display, because we talked about promoting the upcoming election just in general. Not endorsing candidates, of course, but just reminding people that we've got an election coming up, and that sort of thing. And then that was one. Another is, I think we should consider, how we, we have a practice of updating the display in the city county building, with, seasonally, so probably be thinking about how we update that for, maybe the fall. It's kind of got a spring
Yeah.
thing now, but, maybe do something. For the
Yeah,
fall.
no, that's a good point.
And
I
so
like
however
that.
we do that. And yeah, those are just the two things I have.
Okay. Alex, could we make a note to add an agenda item for our city county building display updates to our next agenda?
Yes.
Perfect.
And Ellie,
Yeah.
I comment on Diana's, I'm really grateful. I think that's a great idea to get that display. I think it's a really good idea to contact the Legal Women Voters. And I would suggest, since I believe that the land use plan is now not going to be voted on until October, that as well as the election, that we at least consider putting information about the land use plan in that display.
Okay. Diana, what dates was it for the entire month of December, or sorry, September that you had reserved it, or was it for,
Yeah.
they used to do 2-week chunks, so I
Nope,
wasn't quite sure.
we've got the prominent, the 6th Avenue side for the whole month.
Okay, perfect. I think both of those topics would be very timely for our display. So, we would need to find a time to meet and get all of that for the display. So what is September 1st?
Emily, do we have to have a full meeting, or could just a couple of us work with the Legal Women Voters on doing this? I mean, if not, yeah.
That's a great question. So I guess I will kind of, I'm not necessarily defer, but I will ask Alex and fill her in. So in the past, we have reserved that space in the public defender building, which is the one right there on the corner of 6th and the Walking Mall. And we have kind of informally decided on a display theme and then met to fill it out. So it is really just display for outreach and anything timely in regard to that. So in the past, it's not something we've necessarily like voted on, but what would be like, I want to make sure we're doing it correctly. So how do we move forward?
So in terms of actually doing a display and like creating that in the window, that's up to you really as the chair. If you want to send one person or 2 people, your quorum is 3. So if you have 3 or more people doing that, then we have to notice that as a meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as getting supplies and stuff, the HCC does need to vote on the full body needs to vote on all expenditures of funds. So you would have to
Okay.
for that.
Okay. So I think in that case, let's have 2 people head up that display. And it sounds like Anne, you're interested. And then Diana, is that something you could do as well?
Yeah, I'm actually I'm out of town on the 1st and 2nd, so I could help. I could get the materials together. I couldn't be involved in putting them up. So
I'd be
Okay.
involved in them though.
So why don't Nancy and I, you have a vision, and I'm, coming up on this. I know I understand there's a public hearings or a public open house scheduled for September 16th, I think. Clear on the land use plan. Clearly we would want that. So yeah, if you get together what you interested, and then I could review it with you, and then Nancy and I could put it up. And I
awesome. That'd be great. Another thought is, I bet the planning office or department has some materials that they would give us. We wouldn't have to reprint or anything, that we could use for this to help promote it. So I don't know that they're.
I think that would be a great idea to ask. Yeah, I like that.
I think it's a great idea. And also the Legal Women Voters may have the election stuff. So we
Right.
may just be the collector of much of the information.
Previously, we've never had any expenses, in conjunction with the window display. We've just, found or had donated items, so I don't expect us to have major expenses for this one either.
Right. I think that a lot of the items, I think occasionally Peggy would purchase things, but often it was items that we had on hand, any kind of craft items. But I don't know, Alex, I don't know if when Peggy handed things off, if she like handed off any of the supplies that would be needed. Like I think in the past we've had like fishing wire, tape, tacks, things like that. I don't know what came from her and what was part of HCC's I guess like storage items.
But we do have basic items like that, like we have markers, pens, tacks, that kind of thing. We have like a presentation, like easel board thing. There's a kind of tri or fourfold felt board that you could use. There's a sandwich, and I think I think there's like a big HCC tablecloth, and that's basically what we've got.
Is that what you listed? Is that all stuff that belongs to HCC?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. So I think then what we could do is reach out for the information that we want to put in there from the correct parties, kind of get a plan together, and then whatever you would need from Alex, if we want to use any of those sandwich boards or anything like that, let her know in advance so we can come pick them up from her. Does that work for everybody?
Yeah.
It works for me. And I realize I'm gonna be out of town,
Perfect.
so, but if you and I if we can get the stuff and do it on Monday and Tuesday is Monday Labor Day?
Yeah.
Okay, so Tuesday. If not, I'll find somebody. I mean, we can do this.
Mhm.
Another thing, maybe just to make a couple of assignments, who wants to reach out to the planning department and the League of Women Voters? I mean, I'm happy to do one of them or something, but
Definitely reach out to the league.
Just as a matter of process, I will reach out to staff, because that's what I'm here for, is the staff support person. So I'll talk
Okay.
to,
So kind of like a liaison between us and staff members.
And Alex, what I'm looking for is, what they're doing, sort of their general kit
Mhm.
for public outreach.
Yep.
So that'd be, and also information about whatever upcoming meetings, if by that time the public hearing for the commission is scheduled, something on that.
sure, yeah, and they're familiar with that corner and that presentation area, so I'm sure they have something that they would like to be put out to the public that they'd be able to help with, so.
Perfect.
Work this with Diana though. Because Diana, it seemed like volunteered to come up with the idea or the concept. Am I right about that, or was that wishful thinking?
So I think Diana had like kind of the concepts or both the ideas. She booked the space, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, Diana, but it sounds like you were thinking like good topics for our display would be in regard to the land use plan, and then I have forgotten the other thing that got brought up. Oh, the
Candidates.
election. Is that
the
correct?
election. Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah, and I
So I
think
think
the League of Women Voters would be supportive of having both of those, or,
okay.
co-hosting with us, I guess, for both those, because they did, oh gosh, last spring, they hosted a really good, land use planning discussion at the library. So it's something that they
Perfect.
follow and know it's important to our community. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they'd be more than happy to share a display with both topics. So I think if Anne was going to reach out to League of Women Voters, and then Alex will act as a liaison to ask for the documentation needed from city staff, I think that gives us all the material that we needed for that topic.
Perfect, thanks.
We want
Cool.
two topics in one display. If we've got it for
I think
4 weeks, why not have one topic in the first 2 weeks and one topic the second 2 weeks? Or do you think it makes sense to combine them?
I think it makes sense to combine them. It's a really big display area, and so I think we can kind of have two distinct kind of areas of information, and they go well together. And then they're both displayed for the full month. So I like the idea of putting them together.
Okay,
Cool.
That's a
Okay,
good question, though,
anything else?
Nancy.
Yeah, I do like the idea, but I worry that the coordination of getting the changes made may not. I don't know that I want to do that.
It's simpler. Just do one.
Yeah, it seems more straightforward to just do one. But if anybody has anything, like if you really feel strongly the other way, let me know.
Sorry, what are we talking about?
Anne and I
The
are
display.
for actually setting this up though, but we're not a part of the deciding what it's gonna look like. How is that gonna work? Because Diana will have a great idea, but she won't be there to do it. Because Anne and I have to do it because we can't have three of us there.
Well, I'd say let's each of us talk to Diana, and that way we don't violate the open meeting law and we both clear. Are you okay with that, Diana?
Sure. I'm happy to help. Yeah, I'm on a canoe trip.
I just want to make it simple.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of like more information, right? So I think at that point it's kind of discretionary for you guys, like whatever works in that space with the information that we pulled together and the formats that we have it. So I think I think it'll be, this sounds like it's more informational, so I think it'll be relatively straightforward. We should be able to just make sure that, I guess my thought would be, make sure that things are grouped together for each topic, and then all information that we're given is visible to the outside of that display.
Yeah, that window is so big. I mean, we really can't be too big with our information.
Yeah.
It just it's
so I-
eye-catching.
Yeah, that
if
window
it's
is
big enough.
huge.
Yeah.
Alex, been telling the planning department, bigger is better. Visible to somebody who might be running by, right? And I'll do the same with the League of Women Voters.
Perfect. Is there anything else we want to talk about before we move on to the new business?
Yes, I have a brief one. I met with Drenda Neiman, who is head of Lewis and Clark County Public Health. Commissioner Shurtleff put us in touch because she and I had each talked to him about having block parties. So I don't need to elaborate, except that the health department is very interested in making block parties cheap and easy, and are putting together a working committee. And I will ask that she be on the agenda to come talk to us about this when we get closer to which agenda it would be. I'm not sure she'd be ready for next month. But anyway, I was excited that there's another entity thinking along the same lines that HCC is, and she wants collaboration with HCC. That's it.
Great. I think that's super cool. So yeah, you're thinking to add her to the general HCC agenda. Is that what you meant?
I find the HCC so cumbersome that I thought it would be best for her, you all can decide, best for her to talk to us, the outreach committee first, then we can recommendation that if it's needed, it might not even be needed. I mean, this, right? It could just be that if she might not need to come to an HCC meeting, it might be something that we could just make a recommendation and run it through. I wanted to save her time.
Okay, yeah, I think that's great. Just let me know as far in advance as you can when you guys come to a conclusion about when she's ready to present to the outreach committee, and we'll make sure it gets on the agenda.
Well, I'd say,
And who is presenting? I missed the name.
so this is Drenda Neiman, and she's the head of Lewis and Clark County Health, Public Health, whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah, she's our public health officer. Oh, awesome. That's wonderful.
They came to me because Andy knew that I was interested in block parties. And I told her, yes, I'm on, and I'm hoping that HCC will be on, but I, as an individual, am all on with this.
Yeah, I think it would be great to hear from her, and then we can, as a committee, take it to the full board as needed.
And let's put her on the agenda for next month, and we can always remove it, right? But at least if she's not ready.
I think that would be reasonable. Does that work, Alex?
Yeah, works for me, depending on her scheduling, obviously, but yes.
Cool. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that then, and we will try to pass on our date to her as soon as we have it. So we'll go forward with that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so if that was the last thing, I think we can move on to new business then. So I think let's consider the new yard sign design, which I believe was attached to the documentation.
Yes, we have
Or we
copies.
previously. Okay, perfect. Does anybody have, I guess we're considering it, so I'm assuming considering it for a vote, but before we vote, is there anything that needs to be discussed?
We talked about this at an HCC meeting and we had the two pictures or the two. I'm only seeing the one with brown. Did we vote on that? And I forgot.
No, the HCC empowered us as the but we all voted and we empowered this group to make a decision on the color. And I was unaware that there were other color choices until our HCC meeting at the end of July. So that might have actually smoothed the conversation a little bit, knowing that we had other choices. But can you give us that palette again, Alex, so we can choose as a committee which colors we like?
So we've got this bank of colors right here. For the city of Helena banner here.
We can't have,
That's not what you showed us at the HCC meeting. You had a branding kit or something?
Yeah, these are the colors from that document.
how about the default solid colors? Can we use those?
No, we can use these right
What-
here. So come from, pull up the agenda again.
I mean, what you showed us, maybe just for everybody, could you just bring up what you showed us at the HCC meeting? Because there were lots of shades and more than what you've got here on the PowerPoint edits
You guys can actually see.
or palette.
So I showed you our branding guide, and like I said, all of these colors are the ones that I just showed you on that website. They're just loaded into the.
Okay, I think I see. Yeah, so
Okay.
the colors on the logos and file, like that logo lockups, elements, and file names, those are those colors that you have.
Oh, so it's not the shades, we just have those solid colors to choose from? I mean, the big blocks?
This is just how transparent they are. So whether you can see as much
Gotcha.
white
Okay. I
or
see.
not.
Gotcha. Okay, so I think we had originally gone with what? Blue and yellow was the original.
Yeah.
Sorry
Okay.
for the
Um,
model here, but this was the original.
okay. So I think then let's kind of take a look at that color, the accent colors. And so the only thing that would change for the accent colors on your mock-up, which would be that other page, right? Like that other, the one below that, is that right?
The brown one.
Perfect. So the only thing that would change then, we could change the like HCC section, the color there, or also the blue.
Yeah, so the way that the motion was in the HCC meeting was that pick the color because everybody liked the wording. But
Mhm.
we're here to pick the color and then send it on. So yes, it's
Okay.
that brown color is what we're choosing.
Okay, perfect. So then I think if we're choosing the background color for the brown and we're looking at the accent colors that are available to us and what goes with blue, if I had to look at those, I would think that maybe that amber or rust color might look nice.
The
But I don't.
amber-
That is so freaking orange. That's hilarious. Okay.
What about the green color? What's that?
The third one over from the right.
Good. And then we could I mean, depending on what color, we could also change the transparency, so it could maybe be a little lighter shade
Um.
from the branding kit.
I would have to figure out how to do that in here. I need to get paid some costs.
Yeah, I would think transparency wise, we'd probably want it
Yeah.
pretty solid just for accessibility
Oh,
Okay.
okay,
Emily,
with the white background. Yeah.
okay.
I don't understand the restriction on colors. I look at the colors below, the default colors, and they're a lot
Mhm.
pretty, and they're a lot more eye-catching. And I realize you all been talking about this a long time, but it costs a lot of money. And I don't find any of these choices very eye-catching or attractive. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
I'd like to talk to the person, whoever ultimately made the decision that we have a very limited palette for signs that are gonna be spent with taxpayer money. And there doesn't seem to be any earthly reason for that I can see. It's just somebody's idea of taste.
So my guess, because I have not been a part of all of the conversations, I think my guess and my understanding is that the city of Helena has kind of made this branding guide and they have asked that we fit within that branding guide. Is that kind of the gist of it, Alex?
That's correct.
Okay.
I don't
So
have the impression that we were asked. Have the impression we were told to use it and that we had to, which is very different than
Mhm.
asking.
Yes. So I guess to both of Diana and Anne's comments, so is this, I guess, where is the direction to, and I'm sorry if I'm rehashing, I've missed a lot of meetings lately. The direction that we are to use the information that is in the style guide, the branding guide, where is that direction coming from?
So this was, I'm not exactly sure the precise date. It's probably in the branding guide at the beginning, but when this was adopted, I know it was a previous city manager and in conjunction with our previous CIO. But this is the policy for the city of Helena, and as a city of Helena body, you are responsible for the branding guide as well. And you're using public tax
Okay.
dollars that we have to abide by all the city policies.
Okay. I think that makes sense to me. I think we have been, we've maybe not known that in the past, but if it's within city policy and we are beholden to that city policy, that makes sense to me. I don't want to, even if I like don't necessarily agree, I do understand where it's coming from. So I think if we want to push back on that, we would have to maybe take that to the exec committee and figure out where that needs to go.
I'd be in favor of that because I sort of understand the rationale, but we are an independent publicly elected body established by city charter, but we are not city employees. And I know we're spending city dollars, a little tiny bit of money to support the HCC, but I don't see why we need to abide by all city policies, including color. So I agree with Anne.
Okay.
Quick, please.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Um. So we can take this back to the executive committee if you'd like, but we're not getting away from this. You have to use branded colors or we're not buying yard signs. That's where we are. So whichever way you want to go, but you're using $600, $700-ish to buy these yard signs. That's over 25% of your budget. That's a large amount of your overall budget. That's not a tiny bit of money. Like when your budget is $2,300 total, and you're spending $700 of it on yard signs, they need to look nice and they need to look branded, and it is city tax dollars, however much you're spending, so it needs to go through a process and it needs to be branded.
Yeah, so I understand the frustration. I can hear it. I know that this has been a frustrating
Yeah.
process for everyone involved.
Emily, this
I
is a
do
hill.
understand the,
That we can agree on.
yeah, I do understand that we probably need to be going by the style guide. I personally don't have a problem with that. And that's like a personal thing. I think that heartburn comes from the way that it was directed, which I get, but I do understand why we would be using the city style guide. I think it makes sense to stay within the like confines of what is already branded. That's my personal opinion. So I think at this point, we need to make a motion one way or the other to either move forward with going back to the exec committee and trying to ask more questions and push back on the color scheme to the powers that be with the city. But I do think, to Alex's point, I have a feeling that this is not going to go anywhere. So I don't know that it's worth our energy.
I would suggest in the, to avoid the danger of, and I hate this analogy, but being a dead horse, but, I think the HCC as a whole is tired of this issue. They just want the yard signs done. We should just figure out some colors, do whatever, and continue the conversation on other issues with the executive committee and the city. That's what I would recommend, that we make a decision today on colors and get them ordered and printed and done.
I think that I would agree. I think that's a wise decision. I think we can move forward with this. I think the branding makes sense, even if the colors are not maybe what we had envisioned. I think it is not worth more time and energy to debate on this topic, and we should move forward and we can continue a conversation about the overarching rules and city policy and how HCC fits into that at a different level.
You know, I know Ben is in discussion with, to set up a meeting between HCC and the commissioners, so I don't know where he is with that. We were supposed to have an executive committee meeting tonight, but I think that's gonna have to be postponed because we won't have a quorum, so.
Mm,
That's
Okay.
certainly a topic we should talk about with them.
Yes, I would agree. So I think where we're at right now is everyone in agreement that we need to just pick a color and move forward? Or is there anybody who feels very strongly that we do not want to pick a color and move forward? Okay, I'm going to take silence as we're moving forward then. So in that end, Alex, could you maybe just toggle through our color options one at a time? There's not that many there and we can pick a color.
Got the whole thing blue.
Yep, bad. That's my opinion. Okay,
Oh.
that was the one then in the mock-up, correct?
Black.
Great. Okay, so I think that concludes the color options. So, surprisingly, I like the green. Diana, how do you feel?
I'd go with the green or the light blue.
Okay, Nancy and Anne, what were your thoughts?
The green, I guess, was the best of our choices.
I could go with either your suggestion. I really don't care, of these
Okay.
choices. They're both adequate.
I'm happy
Okay.
with the green. I think this looks fine.
I think the green is good as well. So in that case, does someone want to, well, I guess we've had a lot of comment, but is there any public comment before we move forward? Doesn't look like we have any public. So does someone want to make a motion to move forward with green?
I move that we move forward with green.
Second.
Is there a second? Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. So I believe that passes unanimously. So that one is off the table. The underlying issues regarding this will continue on in a different forum. So then let's move on to the fall art walk and the fall open house. I know we're in August, but we are quickly coming up on those. I do not think they have currently set a date for the fall art walk yet, but I believe that we should keep an eye out for that. So I think at this meeting, we can make a motion to commit to doing the fall art walk, one way or the other, depending, like date to be determined. And then I also wanted to touch on a fall open house. It is something we had discussed after our spring open house. So I don't know if anybody has any thoughts on whether or not we should do a fall open house or if we should just do the fall art walk.
I think we should do both.
Okay. So I guess with that in mind, if you think we should do both, and then I don't know, Anne and Nancy, how do you guys feel? Just fall art walk or both fall art walk and trying to host another open house?
Yeah, are they both in September? Oh, you don't know the date of the art walk. Do we have a
I
date?
don't.
I think the art walk
We
is,
don't have
I think there is a date.
I think so too.
I think
the last time I checked, it wasn't up, but I will look really quickly.
Oh, okay.
poster with, I thought I'd seen a poster in Windows. The last I heard from Director Brink, there was going to be an open house on the land use plan for September 16th. And again, Alex, could you check on that? I'd like to know whether HCC is invited, expected, whatever, to have a role in that open house before I commit to another open house. Do you know anything, Alex, about that?
I seem to remember an email from Director Brink speaking about this, about HCC's involvement in their open house. And I don't remember off the top of my head exactly what it said, but I can forward it to the group.
I would like that, because I wrote to him as a member of HCC. I wrote to him wanting to meet with him. I wrote to him in June, and he said, basically the answer was no, and he was telling that there'd be a kit for HCC to use, which I've never got. So again, if we're expected to have a role in this, and I kind of think it would be a good thing potentially, I don't want to commit to another one until we find out what's expected of us in September.
You know, and I guess when I said yes to both, I was assuming that's what the topic of our open house would be. That was a big assumption on my part, sorry. But at our July HCC meeting, I did ask Ben that question towards the end of the meeting, if the planning department was expecting us to do a open house like we did last year on, you know, and about transportation. And they and he said he was still in discussions with the city, so I don't know where that discussion has gone, but if Alex, you have more information, that would be helpful.
I can ask. I'm looking up if there's an art walk. I don't think
they haven't put it on their website yet, but it looks like at some point, because in the blurb they did release like their 2025 schedule. And it looks like it's going to be in November potentially, which is generally when they have it.
Okay.
So I think we could maybe postpone the conversation for the art walk or any kind of motion for the art walk, I think, to our next meeting, if everyone's amenable to that.
Yes.
Okay. Because we don't have a solid date and we don't have any, I think we're also pending information for what like an open house would look like, because you guys were under the impression that it would include information. Did you say for the land use plan or for transportation? I apologize, I kind of missed it.
I was thinking land use plan.
Me
Okay.
too. I am not in favor of us doing a separate open house on the land use plan. But I would like to know whether the city wants us to be involved in whatever they're planning on land use plan.
Mhm. I think we could see what the information is that Alex potentially has, and then also see what comes from the executive meeting. I will say, I think in the past, the first open house we did, which was in reference to, I think, I don't think it was the land use plan. Maybe it was. I can't quite remember. We were more or less given like a kit, to be able to run it ourselves and talk to, folks who came about what that would look like, and give them information and get feedback. So I think potentially I it wouldn't be out of the question, I think, to do something similar for this. But if we feel strongly about being present at the other existing open house, that would be something we could get more information on. But I don't know that they would. Yeah, I think it makes sense to me that it could be two separate things, but if we want to get more information and ask, we can, and we could revisit in our September meeting as well.
And the previous one you're talking about is the one we had at the Civic Center?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
And my concern is I want this to be a coordinated effort. We're at the very end of the land use plan. And so I think that we only need one open house on the land use plan. Then they're going to start in on the zoning and the subdivision ordinances. And that's also something I think HCC should be involved in. But the land use plan, my understanding is the commission is going to adopt this sometime in October. And so I think there should be
Okay.
on that.
So I think that makes sense. So I think then at that point, we should just either decide if we want to do an open house specifically for HCC and pick a different topic similar to what we did for the transportation open house, or if we should go ahead and not do an open house because there are several other things going on with like city government and elections and things like that.
I like the latter option.
Okay. So go ahead and skip an open house this fall because of all of the other items that are going on.
Are you saying exclusive of the one that I got the impression we had to do that was about the land use plan? Or can we skip that one?
So sorry to clarify, when I was talking about when I had Alex put the fall open house on the schedule, I was thinking specifically for HCC, for another like topic oriented open house that we host,
Right.
either with like in conjunction with a city like department that is willing to work with us, like transportation was, or if we wanted to do something different where we just get a chance to talk to folks from our districts and kind of explain what HCC does as we have in the past. That was what I was thinking. It sounds like there's interest in either being a part of the existing land use plan open house or being land use plan oriented. And I think in that case, we would be doing like kind of duplicating efforts. So I think we either do something specific for HCC or we don't do an HCC open house at all for the fall. And I would be okay with that. It sounds like there's a lot going on that we could be maybe peripherally involved with.
Okay, thank you.
And I had something just to mulch on that we don't have to decide now, but I would like to propose we think about doing some sort of open house in January on the budget. You know, sort of.
Yeah, I think we could definitely keep that in mind and talk about it as we get closer.
For dummies, to help us and our constituents understand the budget better at a time when there's actually time to do input on it.
Mhm. Yeah,
Emily,
I think that, yeah,
sorry, there's another group in here in this room at 1, just so you know, we have 5
okay.
minutes.
Okay, so I think let's postpone the fall open house and art walk conversation until September. And we will circle back to it at that point after we get some more information about the land use plan open house. And then I would like to just pass through recruitment since we're short on time. So let's talk about standardizing the meeting time for the next agenda.
I think it's a good idea to have a standardized and, the second, the third, whatever day, noon. And I like noon because people might be able to come for their lunch hour. I would like to have it be at the library whenever we can, because I think that's much friendlier. The city county building is like a rabbit warren. I don't think we're gonna get people dropping in to any meeting here. And so whenever we can schedule, if we can schedule the library out, I think that's a much more welcoming to the public location.
Yeah, and there's Wi-Fi at the library. I don't know why we couldn't just log into the city's Zoom account and make it Zoom available at the library. And we do that all the time for other groups.
Have you done it in the small meeting room? I know we've got it in the big one, but does the small one also have that capability?
Yes, and the study
Yes.
rooms too. Those are really tiny, but
Okay.
Yep.
I like the library also. And it was, although, as you recall, maybe it would be easier to find a room in the library than it has been before if we always know when it's going to be, and so I can ask a whole month ahead of time each time.
yeah, you can reserve only 3 months in advance. I think is the
Mhm.
policy now at the library, but
But
Yeah.
for weeks. This way I could do maybe 3 of them in a row.
So, in the essence of time, Alex, would it be okay if we maybe sent out an email to the group to standardize the time and then we vote on it at the next meeting? Is that something that we could do?
Sure, yeah, we sort of already
Okay.
that in the last email.
Okay.
And he pretty solidly landed on the first Thursday at noon.
Okay. Actually, since we already did that in that last email, could we vote on it now?
Yeah, it's in the whole packet, so we can do that.
Great. Perfect. So it sounds like we all agreed the first Thursday at noon would work really well for us. So I think we should vote on standardizing that time and then we can revisit the location conversation when we have more time, because we're about to get kind of butt up against the next meeting. So does someone want to make a motion to vote? Yeah.
I'll move that we standardize our meeting day and time to be Thursday, the first Thursday at noon. And that we also continue the conversation about the location.
Good job.
I'd second that. Is there any reason not asking Nancy to get us at the library for next? I mean, because we used to meet at the library, right?
Yeah.
Forgetting it if she can for the first, whatever that is, the first Thursday at noon in September.
I'd be glad.
Yeah, we did used to meet at the library, and I think that maybe Alex, you had okay, let's do this. Let's vote on the first Thursday at noon, and then we can discuss the library afterwards because we are completely out of time. And I think there was a slight issue, so I want to make sure that we work through that as a group.
Okay.
So I believe that we had a movement from Diana and a second from Anne. So all in favor for standardizing for first Thursday at noon.
Aye.
Perfect. So that's everyone. So then moving on, public comment. Again, I'm not seeing any public, so I think we can move forward with adjourning our meeting. So is there a motion?
We adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor? I think we're good to go.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Emily. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Emily.
Yeah.
Bye,
Thanks,
Diane.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, bye.